Hey guys, what's going on? SE Rocks here with the first ever podcast episode of 3D Drinks, Discussion, and Dudes. Tonight I'm joined by the one and only Xander.
Hello, that's me. I am Xander.
That is Xander. We were also supposed to be joined by Donnie Brook, but technical difficulties is keeping him away from this one.
Dang,
Tonight
Donnie
we are
Brook.
going to What's that?
Dang, Donnie Brook.
Yeah, we were excited to have Donnie Brook on today, and
Next
internet
time.
from them radio waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but tonight we're going to discuss AEW, All Elite Wrestling. First thoughts when you heard of AEW, Xander?
I was just really excited. It was kind of cool to see, like, from, I guess, where the Bucks and where Cody and all them, where they came from, and to be able to create something that could potentially, and is probably going to, be a direct competitor to WWE. And it's nice to be able to have that competition again. And hopefully, I really hope that maybe it'll help increase or make WWE a better product also. Because lately, they've been slacking big time.
Yeah,
So
I'm
hoping that I'm sure AEW is going to be a far superior product, but I'm hoping that it kind of gives WWE the, hey, you can't just be number one and be a shit show. You gotta, put out a good product still.
Right. What were your thoughts when they were first starting off as the Bullet Club in New Japan? Like, that's where they started off and really hit it big. And did you ever think that maybe they would start their own promotion? I mean, I didn't follow them a lot in New Japan, so I didn't really know, but...
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, too. I didn't follow it too close in New Japan. I never really watched any of New Japan. I don't get their channel, so I can't really watch any of that. But yeah. I did see, like, sometimes if they were doing matches in Ring of Honor, I would try to catch it a little bit so I could get a little taste of it. Right. But definitely at the time, I didn't think it was going to get as big as it did to the point where they created their own company. Like, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's like how I was. Like, I was never a huge Young Bucks fan.
Mm-hmm.
The style, like, I'm not huge on the no-sell style, so that's why it kind of turned me off to them. And I never really got into Omega, and it really wasn't until Cody Rhodes, or just Cody, went to New Japan and started working the indies that I was like, all right, maybe I can get into this. And then All In happened. Is that when you jumped on board and thought maybe they're onto something right here?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, the fact that as soon as they came out with All In, it was like, okay, well, depending on if this is a hit or miss, like, if All In fails, then, the idea is shut down. But if it's a success, which they sold out, what was it, like 10 minutes, all the tickets were sold out and everything, like, you knew from that point it was going to be something huge.
Did you think it was just going to be a one-off? Did you think it was just going to be All In, or did you think they actually had, like, a plan in place and that was going to be the determining factor?
I don't know. I mean, probably at the time it was just like, all right, let's see how this one show goes, because I think that's what they were talking at the time, was someone so-and-so said there's no way they can sell out a 10,000 seat arena or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was Meltzer, I think, said they couldn't do it.
And then the fact that they did, it was like, oh shit, now we can actually do something with this. And from there, it was like, oh, we're the elite, all elite. Oh, hey, look at that, AEW,
right.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, it was huge. Did you watch All In or no?
I watched bits and pieces of it, like if there was part of a match, but I didn't watch the whole thing start to finish.
Okay, that's we bought it, we watched it. I kind of I was hoping that something was going to come from it, like watching it, all the hype, like you said, it sold out instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes to say that it was, the marks or just, supporting the T-shirt company or whatever. There's all that crazy talk online from all those folk, but when they sold out a venue that size, and not many people in the States really knew some of the guys that were going to be on the card, like, you knew they were onto something.
Right, for sure. I mean, I'm sure they were mostly going for the names Cody and the Bucks and Kenny and everything, but then, like, there's all the fillers and getting the
and that's
exposure
exactly
of
where I
these extra
think
people.
where Double or Nothing really took off too, because I didn't know everybody on that card.
No,
and everybody on that card, like, got you excited for what AEW is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to be something new. Like, everybody's talking it's the new WCW because they're going to be on TNT, and
that's a huge TV deal too. Like, that's...
Oh yeah,
That's unheard of. Like TNT, who hasn't been in the wrestling business since WCW, like all of a
Right.
sudden, hey,
And
like
I totally get like the similarities. TNT's picking them up. They have a big money backer. Um, but I really think that they are sick of what the wrestling business is.
yeah, oh
And
for
there's
sure.
you have the old timers that are sick of, this new wave of wrestling, which, all elite wrestling kind of is that new wave of, like I said earlier, the no sell, the flip-de doos, the crazy gimmicks like the Joey Ryans. I know some people out there like the Doc hate Joey Ryan and his dick suplex or whatever, but
I mean, that is a bit, yeah.
you don't like that either.
I mean, I think it's funny, but I don't. I'm a sucker for funny gimmicks and stuff. I like flippy doos, but
And yeah, I like flip de doos. I like to be entertained. So that dick flip, although it's not your typical wrestling spot, it pops the crowd.
oh yeah, the crowd goes
Joey
nuts for it.
Ryan is making
I
big
just made
bank.
a pun.
Yeah, you did. Ha-ha.
The crowd goes nuts for it.
Yeah, they did. And like Joey Ryan's making like huge cash on the indie scenes with basically this one spot.
Yeah.
And he's a great worker. His character is really good. And like I talked to my buddy over the weekend. He was here to watch Double or Nothing, and like he agrees. Like people are buying into it. They're popping, and it may be garnering hate from a lot of the old school fans, but it's doing what like things in the '80s for wrestling did. Like the Undertaker's a dead man.
Right.
That's a gimmick. Like he's not
people
really
believe
dead,
that
guys.
shit, yeah.
Yeah. And like, what is the difference between that and this guy like acting like he has a power penis?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, when you go into wrestling, you're suspending your belief.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't understand like the double standard on that. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, back to AEW. We got to the starting. What did you think about the shots that were fired from WWE at AEW at the Hall of Fame?
What shots were fired at the Hall of Fame?
You didn't pay attention
There
to
were
it. You gotta follow the product,
Uh,
Xander. Triple H
I'm
made
sorry.
some shots and
I'm
said
sorry.
like that pissant company or something, because Billy Gunn works
Oh,
for
yeah, the
AEW
pissant
and he was
company
at the
thing,
Hall of
yeah.
Fame. So yeah, what did you think about that? Did you think it was just like playful jabbing, or maybe like he's legit salty about it, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I liked when he said when Billy was out there and he said, "You can't fire me." I thought that was funny.
Yeah, right.
But-
So it almost felt like a playful banter,
Mm-hmm.
but there was still like that it kind of stung that.
Oh yeah, and that
You
was
know, Cody
before
went
Double
out.
or Nothing happened too. That was
Yeah.
when AEW was still basically just a shell of an idea. I'm like,
Right.
now that the event has happened,
Oh yeah.
Like,
By the
everything's
way,
different.
what are you drinking on, Xander? What's your
have,
drink?
Tap water.
He has tap
In a
water.
bottle.
I have OJ and coffee
Oh
here
man,
at the Dudes Drinks and Discussion.
yeah.
But yeah, so Hall of Fame. It was interesting to hear him take a shot at a company that literally had not even had a show televised yet, because
Mhm.
All In technically wasn't All Elite Wrestling. It was
Yeah.
just like a one-off. So that was kind of cool. But how about Cody? The shots he took at Double or Nothing at Triple H and WWE.
Oh, I enjoyed that very immensely. I kind of wish that. I feel like I wish that the chair would have been rigged a little bit better,
Right.
because he kind of took a hit. There was a pyro explosion and like the back fell off, but like nothing really happened to the chair. Like
Do
it was
you-
kind of cool and the pyro was cool, but I mean,
See, I thought
fact
the
that he-
pyro was kind of lame, but
I mean, it was yeah.
the whole idea I thought was like awesome, because like
Mhm.
when you see Brandy go, I watched it live too, guys, just so you know. And like you see him walk down to the ring, and Brandy pulls out this sledgehammer, and you're just like, okay, where is this gonna go? Because when he comes out, you seen that Triple H like throne sitting there,
hmm
and I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, okay, is that like supposed to be like Triple H's throne, or is it something like a new gimmick? Because that gear that Cody was wearing was kind of different too. So I was like, okay, is he trying to go for like a different gimmick here?
hmm
And then she hands him the sledgehammer, and they're walking back, and they're like, okay, this is gonna be like badass. And I think I was mentioning to you before that I thought it would have been cool, like if he would have kind of like smirked at the crowd and sat in the throne, like, okay, I'm the Triple H of AEW.
Oh yeah, he
Kinda
definitely should have sat in the throne. That would have
Yeah, like
cemented
kind
it
of
pretty
healed
good.
it up for a second, and then
Mhm.
kind of like stands up and just crushes it. Like you said though, like the one hit and how it kind of just like the back fell off. I wish he would have just like decimated it, like really went to town on it. But
Yeah, I saw
I
a
think that-
video. Sorry, I saw a
No, go
video
ahead.
where he was like, they were like rehearsing it, and he hit it like 2 or 3 times
yeah,
in the rehearsal.
and that was without pyro too. Yeah.
And
I
then
think I think the rehearsal looked better than the actual show did.
yeah.
Like the 2 hits to break it was, I don't know, I like that better than like the 1 hit in the back falls off.
Mm.
But so the shots that they're taking at WWE, do you think it's because they're like legit fuck you guys, like you guys treat your performers like shit? Because I know when they came out, they're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do for our performers. Insurance, they're gonna have, they're gonna be well taken care of. It's gonna be all inclusive. Basically trying to say we're gonna be everything that WWE hasn't been and never will be. So do you think these shots like on Double or Nothing are basically like a fuck you, or kind of like, okay, here we are, here's what we're gonna do. What's your guys' next step?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a little bit of both because it's like I've seen a lot of people like for example John Moxley and like they were saying like there's a life. I think they referred to WWE as a prison. They actually said like wow there's life outside the prison that is WWE. And
Yeah, that was Dustin, I think, said that.
and maybe it was Dustin. It was Dustin
Yeah.
or Moxley or one of the guys said that. But it's like the fact that they are trying to be so radically different and like offering health insurance like you said and all that stuff. Like I didn't even know about that. Like that's huge.
I don't.
But,
I
yeah.
thought they. I don't think they announced it at their last press conference. I think it was something, which is weird because that's something you would definitely want out there, like you would announce. But I think it was like announced on their website or something. I'd have to go back and check that out. But yeah, it's huge. Like they're totally different. You watch a little bit of Being the Elite, don't you? Or no?
From time to time, I don't like watch it every single time because a lot of times my attention span isn't long enough to sit through a 20-minute YouTube video.
Right.
But I mean, if it's like the episode you told me to check out from like 2 or 3 episodes ago, I watched that one all the way through.
Right. Yeah, that's where I think they're going to stand out. Like if they can make their TV product kind of goofy and off the wall like Being the Elite is, like there's comedy, there's seriousness. Like if they can get that to work into a TV show, I really think they're going to succeed really well. I think they're going to succeed anyway. Like I'm so sick of seeing all these people saying that they're going to fail, or they're just a t-shirt company, or they're just a bunch of marks that are going to put themselves over. Like I hate the word marks, first of all, by the way, just so I mean a lot of people out there who know me know I hate the word marks, but it's good to have competition. I don't like the AEW people saying, well, WWE sucks and they're going to fail. Like, it's good to have competition. It's good to have, like, not everybody's going to like your flip-de-doos and your dick flips and your stuff like that. There's kids out there who just want to see, John Cena wrestle Roman Reigns or whatever. Like, each one of them has their own crowd, but it's definitely going to be great for the business to have that AEW there. I think AEW is going to help feed the other indies, too. Like, people are going to start wanting to wrestle again because, okay, if we can get on these indie shows, maybe AEW will see us, and it'll be easier to get in AEW because they're more inclusive than WWE. I don't have to be ripped and jacked and 8 foot tall to get on the roster or whatever.
Right.
So I definitely think it's going to be good for the business. And there's an uptick right now in wrestling overall. I mean, all indies right now are popping. It's like there's going to be a boom at some point, and I think AEW timed it perfect.
Oh, for sure. And like you were saying too, and I think I mentioned it before with like the competition aspect of it too. Like back in what was it, the 90s with the WWE versus WCW stuff, they were constantly week after week trying to purposely one up each other because they were direct competition. Now with WWE basically being the monopoly and being the only thing, they don't have any competition, so they can put out a shitty show every week, but they're still making billions of dollars off of merchandise, off of TV deals, off pay-per-views, and the WWE Network, which, by the way, is $9.99. And
it is $9.99.
This, that, and what else? And it's like, if AEW, like, obviously they're going to be on TNT, and they're going to be directly they're going to be directly competing. It's not going to be Monday Night Wars because they're not both going to be on Mondays, but the fact that they're going to be right up against it, and I mean, there's still that competition. They'll be competing with SmackDown. Oh no, SmackDown's moving to Fridays or Thursdays.
Yeah, SmackDown's moving.
That's right. Never mind. But yeah,
it's still competition. Yeah, you got that right.
Like when TNA tried to move to Mondays and that didn't work, so then they moved back.
And that's another thing too. Like everybody's saying, well, AEW is WWE's competition. Like, there's other people out there. There's Ring of Honor's been out there forever. Impact, TNA, whatever they're calling themselves now. Like, they may not be, I don't want to say as well known because they've been around forever, but I guess they don't have the backing that like an AEW does. But like Impact has a decent product right now. I don't follow it as much as I used to, but it's a good product.
It's a lot
And
harder to follow TNA now that they're not on like Spike, because it's like
yeah, they have a
whatever
terrible
channel they're
network.
on this week, like the Nature something something Farmers Network something.
Right?
I'm like, I don't know what that is. When it was on Spike, it was like, oh, it's this channel right over here. Like I
Yeah,
got it right here, and it
exactly.
was easy to follow. And
Yeah,
but
they have a crap TV deal, and that's part of their problem. But
hmm
like there's alternatives out there, and there has been alternatives out there, but they've never had the backing and the name. That well, you can't even say the names because they have they've had AJ Styles, and they've had basically everybody who's good in WWE at some point has been in Impact TNA.
yeah,
But something about the buzz around Cody hooking up with the Bucks just made AEW take off.
hmm
It's really crazy to think about it, like because Cody Rhodes was a decent name in WWE. He wasn't never like a main eventer or anything.
no, yeah, he
But like
didn't
as
get
soon
the.
as he left, his name was just like it was gold.
hmm
Which is it's just crazy how they were able to spin it off into their own company. He's only been gone for like what 2 years now.
If even that long, yeah, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
do miss the Stardust character, but yeah, no, it's yeah,
No, I do too. That's like everybody shits on that, but I
hmm
thought like he even shits on it, but he was
yeah,
so good at it.
yeah,
And that tells you like if he hated that gimmick, but he
hmm
put everything he had into it and still got it over, like that shows you what kind of performer he is.
yeah.
I liked everything about it, man. I liked the entrance music. I liked the
Oh,
whole
his entrance
hand.
music was catchy as hell. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I love that shit. Yeah.
yeah, it was good. But okay, sticking with Cody real quick. I know you didn't get to watch Double or Nothing live, but did you catch any of the match between Dustin and Cody?
I did watch that match this morning.
What did you think?
It was nuts. Oh my god, such a bloodbath. And not to like shit on it, but like I'm not big crazy into like hardcore bloody this that and what else, but like oh my god, that was a great match.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely what I wanted to see from a Cody
hmm
Dustin match.
I
Like
just
they've been
the
talking about
suspense
wanting
with
to
the
have a match for
kickouts and
years. Oh, sorry, was that?
no, you're good. I was gonna say the suspense with like kick out after kick out and finisher, kick out.
Yeah, the
Like
near
the
falls were
suspense,
awesome.
just oh my god, yeah.
I thought the pacing was a little off in the beginning. I didn't really, I don't know, something was just off like the first like I don't know 4 or 5 minutes for me,
hmm
and I was kind of worried. I was like, oh man, this isn't going to be as good because in my mind it was going to be fucking phenomenal.
hmm
So like I had it up on a pedestal, and by the end it totally, like it told the story that it should have. I think
Oh yeah.
I wanted to see Dustin go over if it was his one last ride or whatever
hmm
they were hyping it up to be, and I don't know from a storytelling perspective. I understand why they did the whole we're gonna tag team, but I don't know if I like it as like a long term thing because I think I would have rather had that just be the end of it. Like if that's how Cody's or Dustin's gonna go out, like I would have rather seen that. But that being said, the end of the match where he walks back in and he's saying he doesn't need a friend, he doesn't need a partner, and like Dustin is losing it in the corner. Like you see him, he's crying
Oh yeah.
from what Cody's saying, and I'm sitting here with Lil Dre and Andrea and my buddy Gary, and I'm like holding back tears. I'm like, okay, you're not gonna cry, you're not gonna cry. And as soon as Cody says like I need a brother and his voice cracked, I fucking lost it.
hmm
And like that's crazy. Like I'm a grown ass man, and they sucked me into this enough to like bring tears from my eyes,
hmm
and that's something that hasn't happened in years.
Oh yeah. So
So
much
that
emotions
was
behind it, and the brother versus brother thing
yeah,
was
definitely.
nuts. I will say
And
too, it was kind of funny watching the match. I kind of, for a moment, because it's Cody and Dustin, I was like thinking I was watching a WWE product for a hot second,
oh
and then
really?
like once Dustin started bleeding, I was waiting for them to do the whole WWE. Oh, stop the match! Get the ref! Get the gloves on! Let's
Gloves
clean him
on.
up! Pause the match and everything. I was waiting for that to happen, and then it didn't happen, and I was kind of like, holy shit! This is something different. Like, what is this? Like, they're just gonna let
Right.
him bleed. And like, I wanted them to stop the match because I'm so used to that WWE crap with the stop the match, clean him. Because like he couldn't see, he had blood pouring down his face. He couldn't see anything, and it was just like, holy
That was
shit, that was
that was an
nuts.
old school image of
Yeah.
like I can't remember. I want to say it was Eddie and gosh, JBL. I don't know, but one of them was bleeding so bad, like it was just
hmm
a gush. And at one point, Dustin like looked down, and you just seen the blood streaming down his nose in
Yeah. Oh, that was
puddles. And I
gross.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, man, that's hardcore.
And that wasn't the main, was it? Was that like second
No,
main, or was that like the middle of the show, or?
it was. before the tag match, so I think it was like third from the last. So
Okay, so
that's
they
another
must have
thing
had to
about
like
that show.
replace the canvas or something, or
Yeah,
because that's gross.
the next
Yeah.
match they were like, Dre was like, "Where'd all the blood go?" And I was like, "They
Yeah.
had to have changed out the canvas because it was nuts." But the pacing of Double or Nothing was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought because there wasn't, and I'm not an AEW like fanboy or anything. Like there were spots on that show that were off, and I'll give it a pass because it was their first ever big show.
Mm-hmm.
And from like a production standpoint, there were some
Camera
fumbles
hiccups and yeah.
yeah, but like as a product, it could have been a WWE pay-per-view. Like
For
it
sure.
was the like it was just really well done.
Mm-hmm, for
But
sure.
I can't remember where I was going with this. Just it was really well done. But what do we got?
I liked the tunnels on the set. Like that reminded me straight like old school TNA stuff when the tunnel entrance.
The heel face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I just like the
Keep
look of the tunnels and like coming through the tunnels with all the lights on it and everything. Like it just looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like the pyro, they were like hyping the pyro. That was kind of weak. Like
Yeah,
I
mean they had pyro and that was cool, but yeah, they definitely didn't. It might be because of the smaller arena too. It's not a
probably
20,000
was,
seat
but-
arena; it's a 10,000 seat arena, so they can't blow the roof off the place.
What are you talking about? They got 20,000 people, man. You heard Cody say that.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
I don't think I heard
Oh, you
that
didn't
part.
watch you didn't watch it like before the show started. Like they came out like Cody, the Young Bucks. It might have been Omega too, and Brandy was out there, and they're like, we just want to say we broke the attendance record. We got 20,000, fans or whatever. And then Brandy's like, Cody, it only holds 13,000, and he's like, but you know how wrestling is. We got 20,000 fans. It was another shot at WWE.
Oh, that's
and
funny. Yeah, because
it was really well done.
My God, that's funny. I didn't know that, but no, that's funny.
Yeah, you'll have to go check it out. It was pretty good. Okay, I want to say you didn't get to watch the whole show, so JR. I just throw JR. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna throw him under the bus, but he is one of the greatest commentators ever, obviously, but he was just not good on this show.
Was he there for the entire show or just like
Yeah.
some of the matches? Because it
No, he
sounded
was
like
there
it
the
was a
whole time.
3-person commentary the whole time.
Yeah, it was JR, Excalibur, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand they've never worked together. Like I said, it's the first big show. There's gonna be hiccups or whatever. But just JR was at one point, like it was in between matches, and they cut to they're on the commentators, and JR just literally said, "Okay, I lost where I was at," and like. He was just, and you could tell he was pissed off at himself. Like so the other guys had to pick up the slack. But when one of the biggest surprises there was a lot of surprises. I marked out at least marked. I love that word, marked. I was a fan, huge fan. Like during like 4 spots during the show, but one of them was at the very end when Jon Moxley made his surprise appearance at Double or Nothing. That is when JR sounded like the old JR.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go and listen to listen to like 5 minutes of the middle of Double or Nothing, he doesn't sound excited to be there or anything.
No.
But when they show Jon Moxley making his way through the crowd, dude, he loses his shit, and it's like old school late 90s JR. And that it brought goosebumps. Like it made that moment so much bigger because he was calling it. It was so good. And I popped. I'm not a Dean Ambrose fan, Jon Moxley. Like, I watched a few of his matches in CZW. I just never really got into him. But I popped when he came out just because it was unexpected. Like, 2.5 weeks ago, he was still, like, the dark match on Raw.
Yeah.
Like, that's shit that hasn't been seen since WCW. Like, being able to, like, jump ship.
Yeah.
And go. Like, did you actually watch the clip of him coming out? Or
Yeah, I did watch that part. Yeah, I saw that match and then the after part with him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just it was really well done. Like if you're watching it live, you see like half the fans are starting to look one way, and then like you see more fans look, and like the camera pans down, and you're like, oh no way, and it's him, and he walks in, and it was just really well done.
Yeah, for sure. And he's got a T-shirt already.
And he does have a T-shirt.
That T-shirt company's got to have a T-shirt for him already,
And he's going like his vignettes are really well done. Like you can tell he has creative genius when he's allowed to. Like that initial one he released before he went to AEW, like right when he was gone from WWE. that hyped me up. And like
Oh
I said, I
yeah.
wasn't a Dean Ambrose fan, and I watched that. I was like, fuck yeah, man, what's he gonna do? This might be cool.
Hmm. I did read online too. I don't know if it's confirmed or anything, but I think I read that he hasn't actually signed a contract with AEW. He just did that one show for now. I think they said he's got a New Japan match coming up. I think he's fighting for
I
the New
read that he
Japan US
signed
title
a.
or something.
I read that he signed a 3-year deal, but it's not like all inclusive, and he can work other dates. So he is going to
Hmm.
work NJPW too. That's what
Okay.
I read. I don't know if it was true or not, but I mean, and that's cool too. Like if AEW is going to like let their guys go work wherever, that's an advantage too because you're not like holding these guys down to where they can't go work other promotions.
Okay, there we go. Back. Okay, cool.
Whoa,
But
did I
yeah, that's
lose
the
you?
nice thing with the WWE. You can
Okay,
only work
yeah, something happened.
WWE, whereas like how like Ring of Honor and New Japan kind of have had that working relationship where you could send a guy to Ring of Honor to work a show there, but then he's also in New Japan because that gets the exposure around and
Exactly, you're sharing, everything. If the guy has an angle here, then why not help build this? That's the thing that I don't understand. Like, I can understand you want to be competition, but you also want to see guys succeed.
right.
So why not help that?
Even for
Oh, I
like
think
for WWE to have NXT, like even that, like if they did more between
yeah,
WWE to NXT, that would even help.
right.
Because like they'll
And
bring a couple NXT guys up for a call up for a hot second, and like that's all they ever really get. If they
yeah, like
stay
what
up,
have they
they
done
stay
with
up. If they
Aleister
don't, they go back
Black?
down. I have no idea. I think
I
every
seen
time
that.
he comes out, still they still use the NXT nameplate for him too, and it's like, is he on the roster or not? Like,
Yeah, I haven't even seen him since I think he ended that tag with Ricochet. I know they were
mm-mm.
doing a couple of vignettes with him, but
Yeah.
it's such a waste. It's sad to see all these guys from NXT who are really good go up and just fizzle out.
Oh my God, the Ascension had so much potential,
Yeah.
and then yeah, that took like a week, and then nope, not anymore.
Well, even the Authors of Pain, like I wasn't a huge fan of them, but I mean they had the look, they had a decent gimmick, and then they come up and just
Yeah. I mean, losing the manager dude kind of killed that too. I mean, he was kind of
yeah,
the
Paul Ellering leaving
talker for
was
them and stuff. And, yeah,
yeah. Do
not
you
wanting to
think
work
there's
the
going to
full
be a
schedule.
lot more? Whoop, didn't mean to talk over you.
You're good.
This is all new. We're going to have some hiccups. Do you think there's going to be a lot more people jumping to AEW? Because you hear all the talk about how many people are unhappy and they want to
Oh
leave,
yeah.
like Sasha Banks and the Revival. You think they're going to actually make the jump now that they've seen Double or Nothing and they're like, okay, you know what, this is a viable option for us?
I mean, I definitely see it for sure. I mean, I think I saw something online that was like WWE is not going to let people go for purposely failing drug tests so they can leave for AEW, and like they're going to try to hold on to their talent as best as they can. But I mean, if
Right.
people don't want to re-sign contracts and they want to make the jump, I mean, I think WWE is in big trouble right now. Because I mean, they like I think the thing said what 30 different people, wrestlers and other employees, all contacted AEW as soon as the show was over. Like if
Yeah,
all these
it's
people
not
contracts
just
up, WWE's not going to have a roster anymore.
yeah, and it's not just wrestlers. Like Dean Malenko is gone from WWE and is in AEW, and like
Hmm.
Billy Gunn, like these guys who are working behind the scenes are seeing that okay, you know what, AEW is going to be something. We're going to go where the big boys play. That was
Hmm.
WCW, wasn't it?
I think
So
so. I
like
don't
yeah,
know. I
it's
didn't.
it's going to be yeah, you were too young for that stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I missed
So
all the good stuff.
yeah, you did miss some of the good stuff. Um yeah, so I don't know. That's AEW. Like Double or Nothing was a phenomenal show. It was great to watch live. It was long, but it was really well paced. Like it
For
was. I think
sure.
it was almost 4 hours, and
Hmm.
there was only like maybe one or two spots where I'm like, yeah, this is, this could have been better. But
Yeah.
man, I think I got a Charlie horse in my leg.
Oh no. Better work
Yeah.
that out.
Oh, I'm just getting old, is all.
It happens,
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you got anything to add about AEW, Xander?
Uh, I don't know. I was trying to think. Oh, I guess we could go off Chris Jericho. His
Oh
Rock
yeah.
and Rager Cruise Part 2. Do you think that's going to be an AEW sponsored, like straight up? This is an AEW show now, or? Because I know
I haven't
before it
even
was
heard
just
of
an indie.
anything.
It was before just a big indie thing, like All In was. But I know he's
Right.
starting to promote his part two or part deux or whatever they. It's like French or something.
Oh, I didn't even realize that they had announced them. Yeah, I would assume that it's going to be AEW now, because
Hmm.
weren't a lot of the AEW guys kind of on it anyways? I know the Young Bucks were, and
Yeah,
I think Omega, and um, yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
That's an interesting question. That would be something really cool to go on. Like, I'm not all about cruises, but if I had
Oh
the
yeah,
cash,
that'd
I
be a
might
fun
dump it
show to
on
go
that.
to, like the experience and a cruise and a wrestling show. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
they keep. I feel like the AEW keeps announcing extra pay-per-views too lately. Like it was Fight for the Fallen was the next one, and now out of nowhere, hey, well, now we've got All Out. Now there's the fight. There's one like Fighter Club or something like that, and then
Oh
there's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah, I
another
know what
one,
you're talking about.
and it's like they're adding pay-per-views like in between Fight for the Fallen, and it's like, what are we doing here? But I mean,
Yeah,
once they
like
get everything
I heard
ironed
they
out and
have.
everything,
Right.
but
I read that they have like 6 months worth of storylines written or something, so
oh,
hopefully
that's
like
good.
those extra shows are like playing into that, and they're not just like jumping the gun and trying to throw stuff in there.
Hmm.
That's speaking of Chris Jericho, I like completely forgot about that match. That's how
Right.
good the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros was. Like that was phenomenal. That
Those
that
guys
made me a
move
Young
so
Bucks fan.
fast. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Those crazy high fly spots and jumps and flips and reversals and oh my god. I just saw like the highlights from that. I didn't see the
yeah,
entire match
it
start to
was
finish, but
awesome.
oh my god. Those guys are crazy. Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, did we talk
I
about
don't think Jericho
Omega at
should.
all?
Well, I lost you, and then you came back.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Dang,
that's
internet.
because like it was the main, but it was overshadowed. Like I don't think it lived up to the hype that it should have been.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, Jericho went over.
Yeah.
Which I guess he's the big name. You want him to draw people in.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a huge Jericho fan like I used to be. I
Hmm.
listened to his podcast for a while, and he's just so into himself, like himself and his band. And the one, like, I was listening to the one where he was talking to Jimmy Jacobs after Jimmy Jacobs got fired from WWE, and Jacobs is the one that came up with the list and some of the big catchphrases that Jericho had on his last big run in
Hmm.
WWE. And like he would give Jacobs props. He'd be like, "Yeah, you came up with that," and then like in the same breath, he would like just pretty much push Jacobs aside and like make sure that he was over.
Hmm.
So he's like, I don't know, he's just really into himself, which I understand. I mean, he's done so much in the business over 25, 30 years or
Unless
whatever.
he's just rocking the kayfabe really hard and he's just playing up that heel
I think
gimmick.
I think
I
he's
don't
a
know. You never
douche
know.
and really into himself,
Yeah.
honestly. But offshoot of that story, like I met him. God, Draven must have been like 3 or 4 years old. I don't know. He was doing a signing at Fashion Square Mall
Oh shit,
for.
really?
Yeah, I don't know if he was
Wow.
releasing a book or what. Draven was like super small, like I could hold him in one arm, but
Mm.
yeah, it was cool. So like I met him, he had short hair. I think he was away from the business at that time. He might have had just started Fozzy or something. I can't remember. But it was just a cool experience because he was like, "Oh, what's the little guy's name?" And I was like, "Draven." He's like, "Oh, like from the Crow," and like we had a little
Oh, that's
conversation
cool.
about
Yeah.
that. So I'll
Oh
always remember
yeah.
that. Yeah, but like now he's just a douchebag. So
I didn't care for the finish. Like I liked like when he did the Walls of Jericho and he was doing the lion salt and this, that, and what else. I didn't care for his elbow thing.
yeah,
It's
you
like
you
of
had
all
said
things,
that
like
earlier.
that's it. Like he's just gonna hit him with the back of his elbow and that's what knocks him out. Like that's it.
I bet he gets it over though.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's good enough to where he'll get it over. But I did like when he did like the Walls of Jericho. Like
Hmm.
I guess it was the Lion Tamer actually. Like in
Hmm.
WCW, he used to like sit back on that shit, and it was so good. And like he kind of like put it in like he did in WWE, and I was like, oh come on. And then he like sat back on it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of popped for
Oh yeah.
that. But yeah, that elbow was. I knew that's what he was going to do because he had said something about doing an elbow for his new finish.
Hmm.
And I think it would have been a lot better if it was like a ripcord elbow or
Hmm.
something. But
Like John Cena's lightning
in
fist.
context of the match, oh shut up, dude, that is so fucking
Yeah.
trash. I couldn't think of the name of that over the weekend either because I was like, yeah, that stupid punch that Cena started
Yeah,
throwing.
there's a
was
Japanese name
trash.
for
I
it that
couldn't
I
think
always
of it.
forget. Something something Quancho something, but the
Yeah,
lightning
and that's the
fist.
difference between WWE and AEW right there. Like, you let a guy do that shit is
Yeah.
insane. But yeah, so I guess that's all we have for this episode of 3D Drinks, Discussion, and Dudes. I'd like to take a minute to thank Xander. I know I wasn't able to like hit his going rate tonight. He kind of gave me a deal on this show. Donnybrook was going to hook me up too. I'm going to have to put him on the poster next time, I think. So, you know, I can get over that. But
for sure.
Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Drinks, Dudes, and Discussions here on the Super Awesome Wrestling Show. Thanks again to Xander and Xander Media.
Yeah.
I have been SE Rox. And you have been...
I was like, what do I say? Good night, good fight.
No, we're not doing that, dude. That's not going on. I've been SE Rox, joined by Xander, and we are gonna say keep rocking and
stay crispy. Oh no, that's my other show. Yeah, stay
that's
crispy.
Fine, dude.
That works.
All right, keep rocking and stay crispy, guys. Good night.